Now, are state tax liens on credit reports? In this video, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how they affect your credits, if they affect your credits, what's going to happen with all that. Everything that you can kind of imagine on that, we're going to kind of cover that. In this video, you know, what will cause a state tax lien, why the state tax liens are on there, and the different things you might want to do with that. More importantly, I've got a whole bunch of stuff for you at the very end, a little free gift, if you will, about this, so that you can actually learn how to monetize some of this stuff out there in this video. So stick around to the very end. Like, subscribe. If this isn't the video that you're looking at, you don't want to make money, and you know somebody that does want to make money, send this video over to them, and they'll have some fun with it. So let's get right into it. Does a state tax lien affect your credit? Now, let me tell you, there's a big difference between a county tax lien on a property and a state tax lien. So what could be a state tax lien? A franchise tax board in California. You don't want to mess around with them. Okay, these guys make the IRS look like they're playing games. Okay, California has a very aggressive state franchise tax board on that, and that's fine. That's their deal. I'm very familiar with that. I got a friend of mine that's a CPA out there, and he says he's seen them go into people's house, you know, SWAT teams and the whole 9 yards. They don't mess around when it comes to the revenue. I've seen people that didn't even pay their car registration, and they ended up, the state revenue board ended up going at that. I've got, you know, all these people, because again, you know, being in the California area all my life, I get people that go, oh yeah, we have a whole department that does this, does that. So I know California. Most states operate the same way. Their state revenues are state revenue, okay? They need that money. Will it affect your credit? Absolutely. Right away? Absolutely not. So there's a couple of things. Anytime you get something from the state and they say you owe money, doesn't necessarily mean it's true. Number one. Number two, if it comes from the IRS and they say you owe money, doesn't mean it's true, okay? But you have to take it seriously. Okay, this isn't something that you put on the bottom of the stack. You know, for me, I immediately send it to my CPA and say, handle this. What is this all about? They have special phone numbers they can call. They have special contacts probably down there. They can, especially on the state areas, they'll know it's a mistake. I mean, one time the county or state sent me a bill for something. I don't even remember what it was. I looked at it and sent it off to my CPA. And he called me and goes, yeah, this thing's ridiculous. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. And it was gone. So sometimes it's just a clerical error, but either or, you don't mess around with this. So when they first put it on there, they're just warning you. If you ignore it and don't do anything about it is when they will come after you, okay? And that the first thing they'll do is they'll start levying bank accounts and they'll go after your credit report too. So you can't just get any credit at all. So you don't want to mess around with that. Now, a tax lien certificate on a property does not affect your credit one bit. So if you fail to pay property taxes for whatever reason, okay, out there, it doesn't really matter what that is. It's not going to go against your credit report. You can pay it even if it goes all the way to foreclosure and you rescue it at the last minute, it doesn't. And it kind of the beauty of tax lien certificates, because first of all, they don't affect the person that has the taxes or that owes the taxes. Doesn't affect their credit, doesn't affect their means to go out and buy anything. Okay, they only lose the property. Even if they fail to pay the property taxes and somebody forecloses on the property and you get it, it still doesn't affect them. It doesn't show up on their credit deal or their credit report or financial statement or anything else like that. Now let me tell you this. If somebody loses a valuable property for a few years in back taxes, financially speaking, they're probably not in a very good position. Don't kick anybody while they're down. Okay, they're given, 4 or 5 years to pay these things off. If it does go into foreclosure though, okay, you've got to notify that everybody that's got a financial interest in that property that, hey, this thing's going to foreclosure, last call for alcohol. Even if it goes to foreclosure, you now own the property. If the property owner is in the property, obviously that's a really easy way to contact him. You lost the property. But in my experience, that's like 1 in 1,000 that somebody's still living in the property and they lost it about taxes. Usually it's an income property, rental property, vacation property, something to that effect. So I really wouldn't stress out about it with that. Buying a tax lien on the property and having to evict, Betty Crocker and Aunt Jemima or whatever the case might be. It's not going to happen. Okay. Typically, they've got so many different opportunities, and kind of the way property tax liens are designed is to give you that leeway. Okay. They say most economic downturns within a personal financial nature last 2 to 3 years. And so that gives you that opportunity to kind of recorrect or course correct that whole deal and make that happen. But tax lien certificates on properties do not show up on your credit report. State tax liens will. Okay. Now, if you have a state tax lien and it gets up onto your credit, there is a way to also clean that up. There are companies out there that legitimately will go after that and say, hey, this is no longer on here, all that good stuff, and go from there. If you're a Dave Ramsey guy, you don't need your credit, so don't worry about it. But if you're a Dave Ramsey guy, you also don't have a state tax lien being hammered against you. And for those of you who don't know who Dave Ramsey is, he's all about zero debt, budgeting your money, which I agree with all of that stuff. I do have debt, but it's what I call good debt. I have debt against properties. I leverage and what have you on that all the time. I mean, I just get a house that I am flipping, and they gave me 0% interest on a $16,000 roof. I don't have to make one darn payment for 6 months. They know that I would rather not tie that money up. I'll take that proceeds out of the backside and go from there. So a couple of different things that you're looking at. The original question is, does a state tax lien go against your credit report? And not until you just flat out ignore the state. You really have to be just ignoring them, not returning. They're not going to call you. Anybody that calls you and tells you they're with the state and they're trying to collect money, okay, hang up and report that, block their number. They will never call you. It's going to send a letter to you. Okay, the county's not going to call you and go, hey, you got property tax. That's not going to happen. I had somebody said, hey, the IRS is calling me because we owe money on that. I go, the IRS isn't calling anybody. Trust me, that is, was his name Patel? Okay, it's because he's calling from India and one of those scam things out there, okay? Trust me, you don't want to go there. The only time that's ever going to happen is if it's a letter to you, so don't go that route. Listen, there's a lot of ways that you can make money on tax lien certificates on properties. The cool thing about that is there's a lot of information out there, but don't take anything for granted. This is your money. This is your personal money. This is something you went out and worked hard for. There's a couple of things you can't do. You can't get your time back, okay? So you make that $100, and if you lose that, you have to go make it again. And it's so funny when people don't really grasp that. It's like, oh yeah, but I've got some other money coming in with here. Okay, do you really need whatever it is that you're buying right now, that vacation or whatever that? Have you got your house in order? Okay, do you have 6 months of emergency fund? Do you have a savings set up where a bunch of your money is going towards so you can buy your first piece of property or buy a tax lien certificate? If the answer is to no to any one of those, okay, don't be flying your girlfriend to Hawaii because you've got some extra cash. That's just not really a smart thing to do unless you have those things set up. I don't know. Somebody out there might be wanting to do that. I'm just making that up. Or just taking those vacations that all those things are not set up for. And it's okay if you have a family to bring them in on the budget thing. Do you have this? I had a friend of my daughter's at the house the other day, and Shannon said, Daddy, I need a roller backpack. And I said, okay. And her friend goes, just like that? You just said, okay, I want a dad like that. I said, no. We have been talking about this for literally 3 weeks. She knows exactly which one she has. We talked about why we need this. You just came in on the tail end of it. Now, I would never do that. My daughter knows that if she wants anything that has to do outside of school, okay, she has to earn it. Here's the great thing about it, okay? With my kids, each one of them gets paid, okay? Because I can pay them up to $13,000 a year. I directly write that off my company. They don't pay any taxes on that. So when they do need school supplies, uniforms, taekwondo, horseback riding lesson, it comes right out of that account, and it's a tax-free event for them. Plus, it shows them how to budget that. When they want to go do that extracurricular stuff, they know how much money that costs. Here's the great news. Okay, you want to make money on this? You want to learn about all these things? I've got a brand new course on everything that I talked about right now that will literally walk you from A to Z and introduce you to the Saen Higgins tax lien method on that. I'll show you how to do it. All you got to do is my gift to you. Click the link below, higginsmethod.com, and I'll send you out that course as soon as you go there. This is Saen Higgins saying God bless and good luck.